Hi, good evening. My name is Youngsu Turner. Today is March 11th. I am about to perform my second part of my microbiology lab experiment. One part of this experiment is to do agar plates. So I have 6 agar plates. I have melted my three tubes of agar in boiling water into a pot. Now that they have melted, I have transferred a couple of, maybe a cup, 2 cups into a coffee cup to keep the agar warm. I just dipped a measuring cup into the boiling water and put it into a coffee cup, and then stuck the 3 tubes of agar into the coffee cup so that they can stay warm and so that it can stay melted until I pour it into the agar plates. Okay, so what we're going to do, these are the agar plates that we're using. I already laid them in a nutrient agar here. These are what we're going to use for our assignment that is called the bacteria enumeration, delusions, and plate count. So that's the experiment we're using these 6 agars for. We also have 6 test tubes that we're going to be using as well. We have a cup of yeast that we're going to be using. In these 6 test tubes, we have labeled them 1 through 6, and well, they have 10-1. 10-1 through 6 is on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that way. And we have filled each one of these with 2.25 milliliters of distilled water already. That will be that. But in this video, I will do the transferring of the yeast into each one. I will show how to do that part. And right now we're just gonna do the part of pouring the agar plates. So let's get started on that. Let me get my mitts. I have on gloves, but because I don't know how hot the tube is gonna be at the bottom. This is the agar. I've already loosened the cap, so see, it's liquefied. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just take this mitten off. What it says to do is to take the top off, and with the petri dish, just lift it up just a little bit. We're only pouring half of this into the agar plate. So we're going to pour and then close the lid. Okay, so that one's done. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour the other half into the second agar plate. And it's supposed to come out smooth. So it's supposed to be a smooth one. So okay, that one's empty. So each tube takes will fill 2 plates. So 1 tube fills 2 plates. So we have 3 over here. So I'm gonna just use this paper towel to kind of dry it off so that we're gonna do it again. Pour into this plate. Ooh. Let me close that up. I'm going to just open this one because I poured half of the bottle in there. So I'm going to see if I can transfer it over to this other one so it can still have some. There we go. So that worked out. So let them solidify. Okay, so we're going to start working with our last tube, which is that will fill up our last two agar plates, and then we will work on putting our yeast into the test tubes. Okay, and then it'll take these about an hour to solidify. And we will work with them a little bit later, and I'll record that that one. Okay, so our last tube of agar liquefied, drying that off, and now I'm going to pour into the test tube. Okay, so that's that one. I don't know how smooth they are. I see a lump in there, like it didn't melt all the way, but it looked liquefied at least. So I am finished with pouring all of the agar into the petri dishes. So I'm going to set my tubes to the side. I will dispose of them later. The next thing, as I said, we will work on transferring. Try to keep this as smooth and not move them around too much, so that they can solidify evenly. Okay. So I'm just going to move those over there out of the way so we can work on our test tubes. I'm just going to dry some of the little wetness here on our little work surface. So I'm going to put that over there. So now I'm grabbing our test tubes, our 6 test tubes. I have, starting with the one, we're just going to go around and it says to insert to, as I stated, these are all filled with distilled water, 2.25 milliliters of distilled water. And so with our yeast, we're just going to swirl it around a little bit just to make sure it mixes very well before we pipette what we need into each one, which is only 0.25, so it's just going to be a tiny bit pipetted into each tube. Okay, so what the pretense is to do is, this is considered Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which I had to correct that in one of our last videos of that we will be revisiting as well in one of the other experiments that we used Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Okay, so we're gonna pipette. Make sure that's dry. We're going to pipette 0.25 milliliters of the yeast, which is considered our Saccharomyces cerevisiae, okay? Into tube 1, okay? So we don't need that much, so okay, so that's going here. Okay, so that one's in there. So after we put that one into test tube 10-1, we will also transfer from tube 1 to tube 2. So Okay, so it says 2 pipette of 10-1 cerevisiae solution into test tube 2. So as I mentioned, we're going to take test tube 1. Try to get that yeast down into the water. Okay, so we're going to take the pipette and insert it into the test tube 1, and then we're going to withdraw 0.25 milliliters, and then we're going to insert that 2.5. Slow down. Okay, hold on. They're running away. Okay, so what I'm going to do is drop that into tube 2. Let's see, let's straighten these up a little bit. Now they all want to fall. Let's put that there. And then straighten these back up. They seem to want to do what they want to do, which is okay. So then from the test tube 2, we're going to take the same amount, um, 0.25, and put it in the test tube 3. Test tube 3. Okay, so we just have to ensure that everything is being transferred properly. So we just want to make sure we're getting enough in there. So it's saying repeat the transfer process to pipette the cerevisiae from 2 tube to the 3 tube, and from 3 to 4 and 4 and so on, until we get to tube 6. Okay, so we will continue that, and from that point we will transfer. Our agar won't be solidified by then, so I will continue this, and then once I complete this and our agar is solidified, we will revisit. I will revisit you and show you the transfer from each tube to the agar. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great evening. All right, God bless. Bye.